Hi guys, and welcome to Just So Rare. In today's video, it's a follow-up to a video I produced 12 days ago in building an ETH grinding team for as little as possible. In my opinion, if you're starting So Rare today with a budget of £1,000 or less, it should be your number one priority, getting an ETH grinding team, as the potential ROI is outstanding in my opinion, which I will hopefully able to show you later on in this video. So anyway, that video that I created, if I was to start So Rare when I created that video, I would have picked a team, an ETH grinded team, and these four outfield players, because obviously a common goalkeeper needs to be used. And if you're new to So Rare, just to let you be aware, common or rare goalkeepers are very, very expensive, starting ones in particular. They can range from anything from 600 to, I don't know, two and a half grand. So hence the reason I start with a common goalkeeper for this particular ETH grinding purpose. The other four players you're probably looking at and thinking, who the hell are they? And I would agree. Samatta you might know from Villa, but the other three, I know one of them because I owned him, but I wouldn't have if I hadn't been on So Rare. But they were the four I was happy to go with for the rest of the season. So as you can see, the cost of that team, and this is based on the last 3-day average price on So Rare data, obviously 12 days ago when I made the video. That would have cost me 458 quid if I was to buy him at the last 3-day average, obviously. So 458 quid. I bought Sorare from Krasnodar. Now the Russian games have just finished, so these scores are now in. Ionov from Krasnodar, Samatta who's on loan at Antwerp, and Recap Niaz from Gaziantep or whatever the hell they're called. But they play in Turkey, and as you notice, there won't be a score in his box at this moment in time, excuse me, because they're playing at 4 o'clock this afternoon, so he's still to play. So the scores are in now from the three outfield players, and with the common goalkeeper, to make it fair, I've just averaged their score every week to 20. That will fluctuate because some weeks, like my common goalkeeper has this game week, he's hit 40 odd after deduction because he's kept a clean sheet. Likewise, I know there's goalkeepers who've hit 10 because they've let in 3 and have been penalised for that. So that's why I've stuck it to 20. Sorare 61, Ionov 41, Samatta 65, and like I said, Recap is still to play. Now, basically, that will total up to 187 points. If you buy a card from auction today, that card will automatically come with a 5% bonus. So I just use 5% because it's just easier and everyone knows where they are. So had you not captained any of them, they would have another 8 points put on their score, so that's 195. If you had captained one of them, especially a high scorer, I say high, it's high for the ETH grinding team, that would bump that up to 78. So with that in mind, without Recap score, whatever he decides to do later on, that team, those 3 players and that common goalkeeper have hit 205 points, which would secure you 0.1 ETH, which is about 23 quid. More importantly, that's 5% ROI. If Recap plays later on and he hits, I think I've worked it out, of about 43 point something. If he's hit 43 with his bonus, that will secure you 250 points. Now that would secure you again 0.2 ETH, 0.02 ETH, sorry, which is nigh on, it fluctuates at, but it's about 45 to 50 quid. Again, more importantly, that's 10% ROI. Now that's sensational in my opinion, and I don't care who you are, where you're from, how much money you got, 10% in one game week return or ROI is, like I said, in my opinion, is sensational. And this is why I keep banging the drum about ETH grinding teams on Twitter. I see comments on Twitter, and I don't want to do ETH grinding teams, they're boring. Well, if your purpose on Sorare is to make money and you're starting with low money, also have fun with it, which is arguably more important. But if your aim is to have fun and to make money, and you're starting, like I said, with a budget of £1,000, this has to be your target. I'm saying this based on my experience. I started August 2020. Sorare introduced the ETH threshold payment. I believe it was November or December 2020. Had they not, everything I've posted on Twitter about building extensions on houses, that wouldn't have happened. I certainly wouldn't have a gallery that I've got now because I simply would not have had the money to keep putting into Sorare. I'm not a rich man, far from it. I'm a budget player, always have been, always will be. That's just the reality. So just be realistic with your investment, what it can return. Because if you're going to be putting 500 quid in, don't be thinking you're going to be competing with the whales on the platform, because that ain't happening. Regardless how lucky you get, it's nigh on impossible. So for me, the ETH grinding team is the best way to play the game. And again, in my opinion, because there'll be people saying, oh, well, you can get a nice limited team for 500 quid. In my opinion, the ROI, if you've done that over a year, you would gain more by doing it this way, the ETH grinding team, than you would with a limited team. Because from my experience, and I'm crap at fantasy football, so I might be not the best person to give this advice to, but in my opinion, when I put limited teams in, I rarely win more than a tier 3 card anyway, which in reality is about 5 quid, 10 quid maximum. So if you're in 2F most game weeks or a tier 3, you could be talking of a difference of about 30 odd quid, which to me is a lot of money. And I'm sure it is to a lot of users as well. So just bear that in mind. And, forgive me if I am biased towards this ETH grinding team or this route, because I know what it's done for me. And providing Sorare don't pull the rug off or pull the plug on these ETH grinding teams, because there is talk about progression bars and all of this nonsense, which they've harped on about for God knows how long, over 6 months. Whilst the ETH threshold payments are here, there isn't a better way of gaining ROI, in my opinion. Obviously, that's based on having a small budget. If you've got a budget of 100 grand, then obviously you're going to be competing for the top cards, which are going to be worth a lot more than 0.2 ETH. But just realistically, now there's a danger here, and there's obviously luck involved. Like I said, the strikers are a pain in the arse to try and find. Now, for example, if you only had 500 quid 12 days ago and you would have bought that exact team, there's a danger, because if one of them gets injured, suspended, and you've got no more money to put into the platform, then you're not going to need to enter the team, because you can only enter one common card in that team. So you might think, well, I could get a defender cheaper than 95 quid, and I could possibly buy 2 for 50 quid. You probably could. And personally, I wouldn't argue with that, because you need obviously 4 players that play as often as they possibly can for this to work. So however you want to do it, whether you want to try and find 3 defender or 2 defenders, so you've got cover for the defender, 2 midfielders. The problem is, unless you buy on the fringe strikers who are not even in the team with the hope that they are, it's going to cost you a lot of money. So I don't think you're going to get 2 strikers for under 500 quid, regardless however much you save anywhere. So just bear that in mind. Right, I think I've said enough. I'm waiting for this Turkish game because I'm keen to see what he does and if he starts. I hope somebody's found this useful. And like I said, it's just my opinion on how I would do it, given the experience that I've had from being on for so long. You play the game how you want. It's your investment. Good luck, and let us know how you're getting on. If you've got any suggestions for players, let us know in the comments below. Cheers.